It's connecting.
That
Hi.
flower behind you almost looks like a crown.
It is. It's my halo. Hi, welcome to the Spiritual Alchemy podcast tonight. We have Rose Proud, animal communicator, with us. And I'm just going to start in with some interview questions, and then we're going to have Cindy, my ride or die. She's going to come on with Gracie, who scares the crap out of me. She does. I had to go and feed her dogs, and at the time she had 4 dogs, and Gracie was separated. So I know what you did before this, but the audience doesn't. So what did you do before animal communicator?
I've done a few things. I was a hairdresser for a long, long time. I am a certified hypnotherapist, and I'm also an energy practitioner, and then animal communication.
That's the most fun for you?
That's where my passion is. That's where my heart is. I still like doing hypnosis, and I still play with hair a little bit, my family, a couple friends, but animal communication is where my focus has been for quite a few years now. That's just I just love it so much.
What type of energy work do you do?
I do a type of energy healing called quantum touch.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So,
and I do a little kind of my own thing.
Right.
I think we all have this ability. It's just a matter of learning how to tap into that energy and how to access it.
Yeah, and also we all develop our own way in how we interact with it and how it gets expressed.
Right.
Where are you tonight? I know you're like 3 hours ahead of us, and I really appreciate you coming on this late at night for you. But where are you in the country?
I'm in North Carolina, in the western part near Asheville.
Okay.
In the mountains.
And how do you get into animal communicating?
Well, I think it was about 2000. We had this dog that we adopted. His name was Benny, and he was a big Newfie something mix, really sweet dog. And I was on a trip, and we were in the car, and he was with me and the kids, and I'm driving along, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm thirsty. I thought, I'm not thirsty. Where'd that come from? And I turned and looked down, and Benny had come up between the 2 seats. I was in a minivan, and he was just staring at me. And I realized he was thirsty. I'm like, oh, you're thirsty. So I told my son, get Benny his water. He's thirsty. And he's like, how do you know? And I said, he just told me. He goes, all right, Mom. He's always known I'm weird anyway, so it didn't really surprise him. So that just kind of got me thinking about it. And then Benny passed away. We only had him a couple years. He was actually almost 9 when we adopted him. And I kept feeling his energy around me and feeling his spirit. And even my youngest, who was about 4 at the time, came up to me and he's like, Mommy, I just felt Benny come up and lick my leg. And that's what he would do. He'd walk up behind you and just blip, and you'd turn around and just be standing there. He was just so sweet. And so I was concerned that maybe he was stuck, how people spirit can be stuck. And I saw a class advertised for animal communication. So I took it. And that was kind of when I started. But it reminded me, too, that when I was young, when I was a little girl, I had a cat that I was really, really bonded to. And I knew what she wanted. We talked all the time. I just took it for granted. And it wasn't until, Benny reminded me of that. Because you forget about that stuff. You grow up. Sometimes people tell you you can't do that or that's not real. Now, fortunately, my mom never did that. Right. But, you just don't accept it like you do when you're a kid. It's just matter of fact.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And you've had this abilities for...
I've always had a really strong connection to animals. Yeah. But I think that anybody can do this. I really do. It's, it's just like energy work. It's just a matter of finding that way that you access the information and tap into it. And the hardest part, trusting the information.
True. Very true. For any energy work.
Mm-hmm.
How did the radio show, because you do have a radio show that you do.
Yeah, it's once a month. In fact, it's tomorrow night.
Awesome.
So it's the 4th Thursday of every month. It's an online broadcast. It's at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and people can call in, and I can work with their animal on the air. Fantastic. So it's a lot of fun.
You're going to have to give me that information so that I can share that.
All right.
Where exactly did you get your training?
I went to a school in Boulder called Psychic Horizon Center. Okay. And that's where I took my very first class. And then when I decided to really put this out there and go professional, I called my mentor and the person I took the class from, and she was doing a 4-month certification course. So I decided to enroll in that. And that was in 2015, 16, that I decided to do that. Because I'd been doing it, but it was more like in passing or for a friend, or I'd meet somebody and their dog was sick and I'd say, hey, I do this thing, but I hadn't really put it out there. I raised my kids and I homeschooled, and, it was just one of those little things that I did for fun. So, yeah.
So what's the most unusual animal that you've dealt with?
Unusual?
I mean, like exotic, have you worked with animals at the zoo or?
No, I haven't worked with animals at the zoo, but I would love to. But I have worked with snakes and lizards, a bearded dragon, guinea pigs, a squirrel, which I thought was kind of interesting, and pigs, cows, horses, dogs, and cats, of course, rats.
Do they have the same issues?
Horses.
Do they?
Yes and no. Most people don't have as deep of a relationship with, say, a fish.
Right.
But I have worked with fish. I worked with my friend Ada.
Hey, I don't know what a fish has to say.
We were actually just hanging out at her house with a couple other friends. We were just visiting, and and her girlfriend, a mutual friend of ours, said, "Hey, so can you talk to the betta fish?" And I said, "Sure." And they're like, "Well, will you do it?" I said, "Okay." And so I connected with him, and he told me he was unhappy. He didn't like where he was at. I said, "You've moved him. He doesn't like this spot. He feels isolated." And she's like, we don't sit in this room very often. Because she was asking me, she said he never came out. He used to always kind of come out. They have a little stuff. A lot of times when you have a betta, you have stuff on top because they like to hide. And he was always hiding. And I said, well, he's unhappy. He feels like he's not a part of the family. So they moved him back into the kitchen on the kitchen island. And now he comes out every time you walk in. He's swimming up to the side of the bowl.
Oh, great. I love it. Well,
I was just going to say, I worked with a bearded dragon one time, and this lizard was amazing. So just like us, animals go through a progression of soul evolution. So he was a very old soul, and he had so much to tell me about his 7-year-old person and what he was doing for him and how he was helping him. And it was amazing. I was pretty blown away by that lizard.
So the bearded dragon was helping the child?
He told me that too, that he was helping him with his focus. So, we have agreements on a soul level with our animals. So they're here to help us, and we have an agreement for them as well. So it's always fun to look at the agreements when you have time. And sometimes we'll look at them, if it's a particular issue, we might look at the agreement, and you can renegotiate them sometimes.
Oh, so I have an agreement with Duke.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't really look at your agreements.
Oh, so
We were focusing on it goes by quick. Say that?
I had no idea. I would have loved to look at. I kind of get our relationship. We're here to help each other.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I get it. So you do have other psychic abilities.
I work with people as well.
Yeah.
When I work with a person, I still connect with animals, and I work with the animal spirit guides around them. Not specifically totems, which is, kind of more of a Native American perspective, but I just tune into the animals that are around them. And it's really interesting because sometimes there's an animal that's just there right now,
right,
as a guide for a particular part of their journey or their path. Sometimes it's one that's been there their whole life, and they're always going to be there. And they're just like our other guides, angels and spirit guides.
And you tune into those with people?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had an angel reader that would she always picked up the spirit, the animal spirit guides. So that was always interesting. I'm like, turtle again? Now I'm on my back? Great. Is there one specific issue that reoccurs with pet owners and their pet, or complaints from the pets?
Yeah, there's a few things. I work a lot with litter box issues with cats, and also harmony in the home, particularly with cats, or introducing a new cat, or cats and dogs, just helping everybody get along. And a lot of the time it's because they haven't really felt like their opinion was acknowledged, especially when you bring in a new animal.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, nobody asked me.
Yeah.
But very, very often, animals will tell me, and it's not really like they complain too much. They do sometimes, but it feels different to me. It's not as whiny as people. But they often ask for more, what I call intentional attention, like really being present with them. And sometimes when it's like, say it's just you and Duke right now, but if down the road you have a roommate or a partner or somebody moves in, that energy shifts and that relationship shifts a little bit, and they sometimes really want that reinforcement of that one-on-one relationship. Like,
you're still number one. You're still number one.
And what they want is like for you to be present when you're with them, not patting them while you're watching TV or doing something on your computer and patting them, but like really focused, intentional attention. And a lot of animals ask for that. And it doesn't have to be an hour every day, just consistently, even 5 minutes.
Right.
And it really helps that bond. Really does.
I got Cindy joining us.
Oh, okay, good.
So there we go. Hi,
Cindy.
You're muted. Let's see. I don't know why you're muted. Can't unmute your desk. Your mic's not connected. Let's see. Let me see if I can.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now. Cindy, this is Rose. Cindy.
Hi, Rose.
Hi.
Do you have Gracie right there?
She's right here. Whoops. Sorry, it's on my phone. I don't need these because I can't hear you on them. She's right here.
Hi, Gracie. Hi, look at her looking. Hi, Gracie. Hi.
She looks harmless right now, but oh boy.
Julie says she scares her, Cindy.
Oh, she's going to start barking.
So you've had Cindy how long?
Gracie.
What?
Gracie.
Oh, Gracie. Sorry.
I've had her for about 3 years. Come here, Grace. Grace.
It's okay, Cindy.
She's shy.
You don't have
I've
to
had
make her stay there if you don't want to.
She doesn't
I've
have
had
to
her
stay
for
right there.
3 years.
3
She's a
years?
rescue. Somebody abandoned her at the vet's office, and we picked her up. And they got her when she was 8 weeks old. But then they would like go off on trips and just leave her outside by herself. So we first got her, she had abandonment issues. And now she just barks all the time, even at me. Don't you? She's giving me eyes like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So when she barks at you, you mean like when you walk in the room? Or
Yeah. I walk in the house, when I walk in the room, and it takes her a long time to stop.
And what do you do? Aw.
I tell her to be quiet. I talk to her. I say, stop, Gracie, it's me.
Okay. So that's one of the things you wanted me to check in on, right? See what we can do. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, keep going around trying to get comfy. So do you want to go ahead? Should we go ahead and do that now, Julie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does a prayer before she gets started and connects to your dog.
Yeah, I have I call it a prayer just to kind of set the energy. And then I like you to say your first and last name. If you don't want to say your last name, that's okay. And 3 times, and then her name. Is it just the 2 of you? Do other people live in your home?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. I take care of my mom, so I'm actually in my mom's home.
Okay. You live with her, or she lives with you?
I live with her.
Okay. Any other animals?
Oh, yes. I have 2 other dogs, and my mom has a dog.
Okay. And how does Gracie do with them?
She doesn't want anything to do with them.
But she can be in the same
Oh, yeah.
room?
Same room. She's not aggressive towards them. But I guess if she gets startled, like if they start barking or they do something to startle her, then she'll bark and she'll kind of go at them a little bit.
Okay. All right. I'm going to, I'd like you to say everybody's name, because even though she doesn't interact with them really, there is an energy and a synergy to the family. And so that might help us get some insight from her as to why she's acting that way. And whoops.
That's okay.
Oh, did I do that?
No, I'm doing that. I'm still learning. This is only my 5th podcast. Forgive me.
It's okay if I disappear. I'm going to have to close my eyes. It'll be like this all the time. Because when I go within, I really go within. So I close my eyes. That's what I'm going to look like to everybody. So say, I'll start with the prayer. Say your name 3 times, your mother's name 3 times, and then each dog's name. I know it's a lot, but each of them 3 times. So when you moved in, the other dogs, you have 2 that are yours and 1 that's your mom's, or 3 that's yours?
Yes.
Right. Okay. And that way I get an idea of where everybody holds space. That's what I call it, like an energy hierarchy. Mm-hmm. And so with Gracie, is this her only house that she's lived in with you?
No, I've lived in another house.
Okay. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I ask the divine to be here present with us, to open our hearts and minds to clearly receive information from Gracie. I ask this in the energy of love and for the best and highest good of us all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so your name 3 times, your mom's 3 times, and each dog.
Okay, Cindy Woodward, Cindy Woodward, Cindy Woodward, Marge Garcia, Marge Garcia, Marge Garcia, Olive, 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 Mac, 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 Gracie, 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 Katie, Katie, Katie.
Gracie, so as you give me the names, I write them down the way I feel them, and that way I can look and I have this visual. She kind of moves around a little bit. So she likes to feel like she's the boss. She isn't always really the boss because she doesn't have the right calm energy to kind of hold that space. But she wants to be. So her energy kind of moves around. So it's like you and your mom, and Gracie's up here, but she's also over here, and she's also over here. So she kind of moves around where it serves her best at the time. So it might be helpful for us to kind of help her find a more permanent place that will help her feel a little more secure. And even though you've had her 3 years, you know, that can be, that can be still an issue even after 3 years.
Right.
So, okay. And my son is coming in from work, and he just told me I locked the door. He can't get in because it's not with a key. I have to hop up and open the door.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
my dog was concerned about me being depressed when I left you.
I have this all set up so it wouldn't be an interruption, and then I have the screen door locked. Why am I so? There we go. Okay, there she is again. She's very cute.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of dog is she?
She's a Shih Tzu.
Is she? I thought so. Okay. So let me look here. You know, Mac has a very sweet energy.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's like right between you and your mom, and he's just like, oh, his energy is just so sweet. Olive actually has a very strong energy. She holds a lot of space of calming, but it's interesting to me because she's not above. She's below. She's closer to you. Is Olive one of your dogs?
Yes.
Yeah. So she has this energy that comes out from her that's like very expansive. She's perfectly happy just holding that space. She's like, Gracie, you can feel like you're the boss if you want, because I know that I hold this strong energy for the family. She's pretty amazing. Her energy is really strong. And Katie must be your mom's dog?
Yes.
But she's actually very close to you. Is she bonded with you since you've been there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's like a little baby.
She actually is. She's never taken to my mom.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's very hard for your mom, huh?
Yes, because she adopted her because I had another dog, Sophia, that passed. And I had Sophia for about 17 years. And she passed, and she was the very first dog I ever rescued. But my mom thought getting Katie, because she looked like Sophia, was going to be just like Sophia.
Right.
And she's not at all. She's a puppy mill mama.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you rescued her. Okay, so Miss Gracie, she's very, very insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she sometimes acts like she's not afraid of anything, she's very insecure. She also thinks that she's just as important as the people and maybe even a little bit more.
Mm.
But, you know, some of that comes from you. Julie. And it's not necessarily, you know, a good or bad thing, but the feeling that I get from her is you've made her feel really important. And some of it might have been just the energy that you were projecting to her when you first brought her in, because she really needed that reassurance and to know that she wasn't going to be left alone. There was she's telling me this. So when I say things, they're coming from Gracie. So I reiterate that for people, that when I say you this or she, you know, this is what it's coming from her. If it comes from me, then I'll say, I think. Okay. But she says that when you brought her in, so 3 years ago, when you first brought her into your home, there was a similarity between you and her. There's like something you recognized in yourself in her. So, you know, sometimes it can get a little personal with the session. So just kind of, I don't know if that makes sense to you without, you know, going into more detail, but you were kind of both needing each other. And that actually made her feel really good. Like that gave her something to do. And it also kind of elevated her level of self-importance. It's kind of sweet, really, how important she thinks she is. Because it's all around her, yet inside she's got this little pocket of insecurity, you know, so she needs that constant reinforcement and acknowledgement that she's important, that she's loved, that she's special, you know. So we'll see how we can, and some of that has to do, some of that feeling is connected to her barking. It's attention.
Right.
It's not, that's how she got attention before. Even if it was them yelling at her to be quiet. Yeah. It still was attention, you know, kind of like with little kids. Right. They'll do something bad just to get attention. Right. She also thinks that, you know, you don't pay enough attention sometimes. She's got to tell you about stuff. So she's going to let you know, first of all, like if there's something outside, you know, you should know about these things. It's important. That's how she feels. When you're walking in, I mean, she's really kind of trying to talk to you too. It's like if you're already home and you walk out of the room and come in and she barks at you, it's kind of like, hey, why didn't you invite me to come along? I mean, where are you going? You know, she's just got this little, you know, energy to her. So one of the things you can do with something like that is when she starts barking, before you ask her to be quiet, acknowledge it. Say, oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes, I hear you. That's good. Thank you. And then you can say, that's enough, or quiet. And I can relay that to her too. And I actually had to do this with my dog. He's a Chihuahua mix. So, you know, they tend to be vocal, Chihuahuas. Yeah. And, you know, he just can't help it. You know, he'll bark when my son comes in. He's upstairs right now, so he didn't interrupt us. But he stops right away once, you know, it's just his excitement. Yeah. But he will bark when a leaf blows across the yard, or there's a duck in the yard, or, you know, it doesn't matter. So what I've learned with him is the same thing. And I just tell him, I say, thank you. Thanks, Bonsai, for telling me. I see now. I'm paying attention. I got it. And then, so our agreement is he can bark like 3 times. And sometimes he still goes, and that's okay, because it's not like that bark is so affrontive, you know, it goes right to your bones. So you can work with her in that way. And the other thing is, what we often do when there's a behavior that we don't like and we want to change, we have this expectation of it happening. Like, oh gosh, she's going to start barking. How long is it going to last? And we're thinking about that. And so we are sending pictures to them, because animals communicate in pictures. So you're actually reinforcing the behavior by thinking about it And she's like, oh, she wants me to bark. I know how to do that. I can do that. So you want to picture how you would like it to be. Like walk in the room and she just looks up and wags her tail. And think of that response, and she's going to start picking up on that picture. And that reinforces the behavior that you want instead of, thinking about the behavior you don't want. And it really does work. It takes some time, and it's like training for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like an energetic type communication.
Yeah, and they really do understand our feelings, our intention, and every time we're thinking about something, we're creating a picture in our mind, even if we're not really visual, a picture that they're getting.
Oh, I see.
Like when they'll communicate with me, they'll send me pictures, and I often, like when I work with an animal that's lost, they'll show me stuff around them.
Oh.
But also the same when, like just doing a session like this, I get feelings and I get pictures.
Yeah.
So then I got to put it in the right words so I can tell you. Sometimes it comes in so strong, the feeling, that the words kind of come with it.
Mm-hmm.
But what else did you want to ask her besides about the barking?
I don't know how loyalty, but basically, is she happy here, or would she take off? Would she leave? Do dogs know that? You know what I mean? Is she grateful to be here? Is that a thing? Would she leave? Would she try to find another home where she can be the only dog, I guess?
Okay.
That's not
You're not asking like, can you just let her out? But you mean if she had the opportunity to take off, would she?
Yes.
She feels that you are her person. And literally, you are her person more than, oh, look, right as we say that, right, Gracie? You're mine, you're mine, you're mine. Mm-hmm. She doesn't want anybody else to have you. Would she be okay if there weren't any other dogs? Certainly. Mm-hmm. But it's not so much her fault. She never really had the opportunity to interact with them that much.
Yeah.
You are the first person that really gave her consistent attention. So you're her person. She doesn't want to go anywhere. And she's fine with the other dogs, even though she doesn't really interact or play with them. She's comfortable. They don't really scare her or make her uncomfortable or stress her out.
Yeah.
I don't get any of that feeling from her. Look at her. Just don't talk about me leaving. Don't even talk about it.
Great. You scared me because I had to go feed Cindy's dogs, and she was isolated in her mom's room, and I would try to get her to go outside to go to the bathroom, and I just what do? I'm just going to leave the food here. She won't go outside.
Yeah. She wouldn't come to you?
Would she come to me? Oh no, she was hiding under the bed or in the closet, barking at me.
Yeah, she really she has a hard time with women. Even my sister-in-law, who sees her, 4 times a week, she does not like to be reached for, like she's going to be picked up. She does not like that at all. She definitely nip you, Yeah, I mean, she
likes to know things ahead of time.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
That's not uncommon. A lot of dogs ask for that. Tell me first.
She definitely does not like to go outside like the rest of the dogs. She like that unless you're with her.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's probably related to her past, being left out there.
Yeah.
She doesn't. So what you with that, and I'll connect with her on that. But when you're going to go outside, you show her that you're coming back in.
Yeah.
Again, that picture, you know, because when you're saying, come on, we're just going to go outside. Let's go outside. You're just thinking about outside. She's like, oh, wait, I go out there. I don't know how long I'm out there. No, I don't want to go out there. But if you say, if you picture yourself walking back in, her walking back in, that'll help her.
Okay.
Let me just show her that. And again, I know you've had her for 3 years, and you would think by now she'd know that you're not going to leave her out in the yard or whatever, right? But some of that trauma can be so deep, just like with people, especially if it happened when she was younger. You know, it really got ingrained.
True.
Her preference would be almost literally to be like attached to you.
You know,
Only she'd want you
funny.
to go where she goes rather than she goes where you go.
It's funny you say that, because she has a dad that doesn't live here, but when she sees him, she goes crazy. Now, she does not bark at him anytime he comes in. She does everyone.
So when you first got her, you were together with that person?
Yes. And she went straight. I was working when my daughter brought her home from the vet, and I didn't get home till after, but she went straight to him, and she stayed there on his lap the entire time until I got home.
Aw.
And she honestly prefers him. If you were to put us in the same room and we would call her, you know, come here, she would only want him.
His energy is constant. So it helps her feel a little more safe.
Mm-hmm.
You're and it's not anything negative, but your energy can be very busy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like lots of stuff going on. Your mind's going 100 miles a minute, and that can be a little intense for her. So with her dad, he's just kind of this constant energy that it's fairly calm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense for him, but for you. But so for her, she knows how he's going to be all the time. She's very, very affected by the energy of the people around her.
Interesting.
And a lot of animals are, but in different degrees. Sometimes it's just their person. Sometimes it's somebody else in the family. They're a really good read of people's energy. Animals are.
Oh.
If somebody's not a good person, or, has bad intentions. Animals usually pick up on that. So, but that's what she got from him. And she'd never felt that, really. It does feel like the home that she was in had, I don't know if it was a person that lived there or just like an older gentleman who would visit, that she got some of that kind of attention from.
Interesting.
Yeah. So does she still get to see him?
No, not the people I rescued.
No, her dad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, occasionally. Yeah.
Okay. But she really does feel like you're her person. It's just you and her in her mind. To heck with Olive and Mac and everybody.
Oh, yeah. I knew.
Yeah.
I actually tried to play with Mac a little bit when I came home earlier. And I was looking at her like, what's going on? Because she never ever tries to play with him. But she wanted to get close, and she was smelling his face, and it was really pretty funny her trying to interact with him, because he didn't give her the time of day. He was busy. He was busy with Olive and cleaning Olive's eyes. And Gracie, she just kept getting in there like, what are you doing? It was pretty funny.
She probably saw him as a source of attention, like, oh, wait a minute, you do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. She really doesn't know how to interact with other dogs, like on just a dog level.
Right.
She didn't have that kind of, experience when she was younger, but also the little bit of interaction she did have wasn't very positive.
Mm.
And because she was always so afraid.
Yeah.
She was so afraid all the time. Sad.
Yeah. I don't know if Cindy wants to know their agreement between her and Gracie, but I'm curious. I don't know if Cindy, you have an agreement with your dog, like a soul contract with your dog to carry out in this lifetime. Are you interested in hearing about that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let me look at the agreement. So part of the agreement, like I mentioned earlier, when you brought her into your home, there was a similarity it almost feels like in your circumstances. You needed some encouragement and support at the same time that she did. It feels very like an emotional type of support. And so by giving that to her, part of her agreement with you is you giving her that kind of nurturing and support and taking care of her actually was helping you benefit for yourself as well. So that's one part of her agreement with you. That part's pretty well fulfilled. But she's still here to remind you. Sometimes, you know how I said she says your energy is kind of like really busy. You need to chill a little.
Just a little bit.
This is coming from her. Okay, so
I know it too.
I totally agree. I do.
So she's here to help you kind of like step back a little bit. And sometimes with her barking, when it's really persistent, take a moment, check in and see, like, are you like this inside? Are you overwhelmed? Are you stressing about something? Because she feels that. And she's trying to help you kind of, and what she shows me literally is taking a step back. Like, you don't have to do everything 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
It take some time and step back, and you don't take enough time for yourself at all. And she's really, that part right now is a big part of your agreement, her agreement with you, and so her getting your attention is to draw you out. So you start taking a little more time for yourself. And by doing that intentional attention, where you weren't on when we talked about that, right? But
no.
Like spending time with her, just focusing on her, not thinking about what you're going to be doing in 5 minutes or working on your computer or looking at your phone, but just appreciating her, intentional attention. That's good for you too, because that's very grounding. It's centering. It helps you relax. Look at Julie. Julie's not.
I've had to learn how to do this because I'm a lot like Cindy, where I'm just like, whatever. Now I'm just like, whatever. Houses, I don't care. What's more important is me being calm and being happy than this, that, or the other.
And sometimes she annoys you intentionally to get your attention, literally, because you're kind of annoying her. So when she does that, really check in and see, what's my energy like? What am I carrying today? What's going on with me that it's kind of starting to bother Gracie?
Yeah.
Your agreement with her is all about consistency and stability, because she just needs that so much. And even though you've moved, that was a little hard for her, but as long as you're still a part of that equation,
Mm-hmm.
that helps her. So do you live there now?
Yes.
Okay. You brought some stuff with you? Some of your own things?
Yes.
That helped her too, because it still gave her that feeling of, your home before. I mean, she tells me that when you put your mind to something, you get it done.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can be a little bit like a bulldozer with it. So, but she feels you really help her feel safe with that kind of stick to itness. She knows you're not going to just get rid of her. She knows that she's got a home there forever.
Aw. See how connected you guys are?
Yeah.
That's super sweet. As long as she's not growling at me under the bed, I'm cool with her.
That was probably just fear more than aggression.
Yeah, I'm kind of a stranger to her.
Mhm. Yeah. And Shih Tzu generally are really sweet and friendly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have more questions, Cindy, about her? Or I guess another pet?
Look at her. She's very cute.
Yeah. Yes. She's cute. All right. We have this thing that we do. Do you want to see it?
Sure.
Ready? It's kind of annoying. Now she's barking at them because they barked at her.
You get her to sing with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty funny, but sometimes she just goes on and on and on. Huh, Grace? They interrupted her singing.
Aw. They want to come they want to be on TV too. That's what they feel like. Hey, she's getting all the attention.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions about Gracie? It's Grace or Gracie?
Gracie.
I've been saying Gracie, yeah.
Yeah, that was the name she came with.
Did you want to ask about another pet?
I do want to ask about Mac.
Okay.
Because Mac was, I was told he was a stud, and then his owner just dumped him off at the SPCA in Santa Cruz, and that's how I got him. Now, when I first got Mac, he would run from me. I mean, bolt out the door, and he would run. A few years ago, he was in the truck with, my ex-husband, Gracie's guy. He jumped out and he got hit by a car.
Oh.
Yeah. And nothing broken. It was a miracle. The lady drove him straight to the vet, and I was going crazy because I thought I would never see him again. I thought somebody took him, because that's all we knew was the mailman said, "Oh, a lady picked him up in a car." So I thought I was never going to see him again. And since then, he does not run from me. He does not try to leave me. We can be out front without a leash, and he stays near me. And it was just a real huge change from, previously. And I mean, he would still run from me up until the day he got hit by a car, basically. Now, a couple years ago, he had cancer, and they did a biopsy and they got it out of his head. Oh, but now I just noticed he has like this lumpy lump right under, like on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of scared to know what that is, basically.
So physical things like that for me, I can check in and see if he has any discomfort or any pain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a medical intuitive, so I can't say he has cancer or there's something wrong with his kidneys. I don't get that kind of information, but I can find out if it bothers him and if it hurts and how he feels. Can you bring him in?
Yeah, let me grab it.
Okay. It'd be good to just take a peek at him.
Matt, come here, buddy. You were right at the door wondering what's going on, huh?
That's right. My turn, my turn, my turn.
He's a cutie.
Oh, look at you.
This is Matt.
Hi, Mac. Hi. Hi, Mac. He's like, too many people looking. Hi. Aw. Look at you.
This is him.
He has much bigger energy than his physical size.
Yeah.
I thought he was a bigger dog just by how he felt. That's not uncommon, though. Sometimes there'll be big dog energy in a little body or little dog energy in a big body. And okay. How old is he?
I think he's about 10. They so when I adopted him, they got more money if they said he was under 3 years old. So they whited out his birth date, put a different birth date. But then I had to take him to their vet, which was next door to the facility. And the vet said, oh, absolutely not. This dog's at least 3 years old. He is not 1 year old, because looking at his teeth.
Right, right.
Oh, we're kind of not sure how old he is.
Okay. All right. I'll take a minute and feel his energy.
Okay.
Go ahead and say his name again for me.
Mac. Mac. Mac.
Has he had some like sensitive stomach issues since you've had him?
I would say, I think just when he got hit by the car, his liver enlarged a little bit.
Okay. So he doesn't have any digestive problems with eating, that type of thing.
He eats very fast, and he eats everything.
Because the reason I ask is when I first check in with him, I feel kind of it's not really nauseous, but it's kind of how you feel when you're hungry. That it's sort of like nauseousness, but it's just because you need to eat, like maybe too much acid. It kind of feels like that, and it feels like he feels that quite often.
Oh.
I don't feel any pain in here. You said the lump is like in here, right?
Yeah, it's in his chest. Kind of where his neck meets his chest, I guess.
The only thing I feel is like right here, there's a little pressure. I can feel it when I swallow. It doesn't really hurt, but there is just kind of feels like, like if you push just a teeny bit, like even like if you had a turtleneck on, how you are aware of it. It's more like that. So he's not really feeling any pain from it. So it might just be, sometimes they get those like fatty tumors. Have you had the vet look at it yet?
No, not yet. I just realized it probably almost 2 weeks ago. But at the same time, Gracie has a serious, serious skin issue. She's allergic to yeast, and it really flared up to where she lost her hair. So I've been dealing with her in the vet, and I haven't taken him yet.
So she has yeast in her skin?
Yes.
You mean like a yeast overgrowth?
Yes. And she had 2 ear infections because of the infection of yeast in her body. But she's all fixed now and happy as can be. She doesn't even scratch anymore.
Good.
Herself.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So I haven't gotten him in yet because, as you know, like the vet is very hard to get into. So
right. Well, he's not really experiencing any pain, at least.
Good.
He has a little stiffness up in here, but I mean, based on his age, that's probably not, not really unexpected. It doesn't even feel like pain, like arthritis. It just feels more like when you sleep funny, and you need to move your head around. So it could even just be that. Because when I check in and I'm feeling stuff, it's what they're feeling now, and then I'll get a sense if it's kind of an ongoing thing or a chronic thing, or if it's more acute. So like the stomach, that feeling of kind of, I don't know what to describe it as, because it's not like heartburn, but it's not like nausea. It's just more like when you feel like you need to eat something.
Yeah. Well, I haven't fed him yet.
How often does he eat?
He eats in the morning and in the evening when I get home. So like around, generally, not tonight, but generally between 5:30 and 6.
It might be helpful to him if you gave him like a little snack before bed. I know that sounds funny, like a little kid, so maybe not feed him quite as much at the other meals, and just, of course, then you probably have to do that for everybody else, right? They're like, hey, how come he's getting a snack? We all want a snack. But it might help. Just that feeling. It might be his metabolism just is really high. Or, I mean, I'm not a vet, so I'm just kind of guessing at that. But if I had this feeling, that's what I would do. I'd want to just eat little meals throughout the day, or have a couple snacks between meals to make it feel better.
Okay.
For that, and if he's not having any vomiting or diarrhea or that kind of stuff, then it's probably not that big a deal. But he does feel it.
Okay.
He does feel it. So
Okay.
He's very sweet, though. He's so sweet.
We're headed close to the end of our show tonight.
All right.
Thank you. This has been fabulous. I hope you enjoyed it, Cindy. Did it help you with Gracie?
Yes, it did. It did.
You can go back and watch this so you don't have to remember everything.
Yeah. Just think about, what you're thinking about with her barking and stuff. Make sure you're projecting the thing that you would like to see rather than what the behavior you want to stop.
Yeah. I just have one quick question in just a couple thoughts. Can you tell me my agreement with Mac?
How much time do we have?
We got a couple minutes, but we can go over. It's all right.
Mac, his agreement with you is to make you happy. He makes you laugh, right?
Yes.
He just has this quirkiness to him. He's got this sweetness to him, and it just kind of makes you happy. That's all that's what he's supposed to be doing. He's just to be your joy bringer, and he thinks he's doing a fine job of that. He really does. You know, he was the one that you said was a puppy mill. They just use him for breeding or whatever. You know, he was meant to be a family. I mean, I think they all are actually, but you know, that he really needed to be with people, interacting with people.
Mm-hmm.
He loves everybody.
Yeah, he does.
You know, he's like the ambassador. Come on in. Let me introduce you. Let me show you around. And look at this. You know, it's just like, and yes, Gracie, she loves you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
She loves you too, I mean.
There she is.
That's his agreement is very clear and straightforward. That's it. He is to bring you joy.
That's awesome.
How cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Gracie. Does she have Minnie Mouse on her tag?
Yeah.
Is that the tag we got in Disney World?
Yep. That's it.
Well, that's right. You guys you're in California too?
Yeah. I'm in South Lake Tahoe. She's in Modesto.
Oh.
Yeah.
Central.
Nice.
The hot place in
Mm-hmm.
California. Thank you very much, Rose.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
I'm going to plug you at roseproud.com. You can choose an affordable session with your pet. So if you like what you saw tonight, connect with her online. And again, thank you all for, doing this podcast tonight. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Julie. Have a good. Well, I'm probably going to go to bed soon.
Yeah, right.
You have a good rest of your evening.
There.
Yeah.
Thank you again for staying up late and doing this.
I'm a night owl. It wasn't hard.
Good.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.